Good morning, everybody. We are back. It's right side of campus. We're live. It's Monday, November 27th, 2017. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus. Joined us and early by my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to go into Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. Are there's leftovers done, Donnie? Are they out of your fridge?
Pretty much out of there. I mean, he did you go back in, you see the 4 to 5 pies in there. You say, you just keep on hammering them the week after Thanksgiving, Jeff. You pile it in, and then Friday, like, you know what? I'm gonna start eating a little bit cleaner. Nah, you open up the fridge, you see the pumpkin pie, you see the coconut custard pie, you see the apple pie in there. You got to polish them off all weekend long. Now you can start getting back into that mold of saying, you know what? I'm gonna start eating a little bit better. But we all know that where it goes during the holiday season, Jeff. Just keep on shoveling it in. Worry about it in January.
Yeah, the pumpkin pie. I actually had a slice of that. That's good stuff, Donnie. Pumpkin pie.
Ugh,
You don't have it very often, but it's pretty good stuff.
delicious.
Yeah. We're back. It's Monday. Following it up, week 13 in college football, week 12 NFL. Donnie, the college football season's just about over. We got one more week, then we got Army Navy, then we got bowl season. The 48,000 bowls will commence. And Donnie, I do want to mention that no 5-win team will make a bowl this year, thank God. It's all
Yeah, how
6-win
about that?
teams
We
or
actually
more.
have we actually have 6-win teams that actually deserve to go to bowl games, not, playing, the Air Force was playing a game where they had 4 wins, Jeff, on late Saturday night, and they're talking, or excuse me, 5 wins, or no, 4 wins, I apologize. Thinking because everybody graduates there, so they're probably going to get a bowl game at 5 wins. I'm just sitting there shaking my head going, tisk, 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 man.
Yeah, the good old APR score, as they call it. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. But Donnie, I do want to shout out all the listeners. Welcome all of you in to another show, another right side of campus at our new time, 10 o'clock in the morning. We thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're new. Like, comment, share, chat on the chat box with us here on the right corner. Just look at the live chat. As far as um, the site, SBR Picks, a lot of great stuff going on over there, blogs, all sorts of good things. The SBR rating guides over there, the official schedule here at SBR, all the stuff that you want to see. There is a schedule, so you know when it's coming on or not. And Donnie, you got to go to SBRodds.com. One of the best odds sites in the business, one that I use. And you can get so many different books. You get them all right there. Get them all in one place. You can see who has the best line, and you make sure you get the best number. But make sure you're subscribing using the Sportsbook review page when you're looking for a book. Make sure you're heading over there if you're new. I get people all the time asking me, what book do I use? Blah, 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 blah. Go to sportsbookreview.com. They give you a little breakdown of the book, best bonus structures, payout options, all that sort of stuff. Sportsbookreview.com. Want to get the live chat up here. Looks like we got plenty of people on here. We welcome all of you in today. And Donnie, I actually want to talk about one thing before we get into the breakdowns of the show. Um, Last night we had a first at SBR, Donnie, and it was pretty fun, I have to add. It was kind of spontaneous, but it came together and it was actually pretty fun, especially with how many people were in it. But we did the Betcast last night, Donnie, as you know. The game sucked. A lot of it was Grey Cup and just talking about other things. But so, Donnie, I don't know, about midnight or so, game was over. Duke was at halftime, and Gabe Morency was going to jump off the chat. And I was kind of doing like a play by play, but just kind of fucking around with it. But then people started to like it. It started to be like people were into it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay on for the second half. It was a roller coaster of a game. I don't know if you saw what happened, but did you see what happened, Donnie? Or no?
I did not. I did not know college basketball
Okay.
started yet,
So
Jeff. Enlighten me, brother. Go ahead.
So basically, we all had Duke. We all had Duke money line.
Hmm?
Duke was down 21-6 in the game early. They made a run. They made it respectable. They actually took the lead in the first half. We go to half 53-49. Come out of half. I mean, at one point Duke was down like with like 9 minutes to go. They were down 16. People are leaving. They're like, I'm done. See you, big man. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, look, they're gonna come back. Just relax. Don't be like the Miami Heat fans and leave. So wouldn't you know it, they came back. We called it on the air. It was fun. We did a play-by-play. I was going nuts. It was awesome. We had a good time. And hopefully we could do the play-by-play again because I think people liked it, Donnie.
No, it seems like it was a lot of fun. I mean, that's what's going to be a lot for the rest of the year, Jeff. I mean, NCAA basketball, you're going to have 50 games a night there. You should certainly have some fun. There's always going to be a 10-bell game on, especially late at night on those betcasts. So it sounds like it was a lot of fun. And again, Jeff, not breaking any copyright infringement there since you weren't showing the video, right?
No, I wasn't showing the video. Just I basically had my mic in my hand and I was just calling it like a radio person would. But let's get into college football. Donnie, it was a wild week on the gridiron.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go to Friday, and I know it's not something you want to talk about, but Miami lost, Donnie. But
Yeah.
you know what? Doesn't really matter too much. Clemson, Miami. It all comes down to the ACC title game. Whoever wins this is going to the big time, Final Four, Donnie.
Yeah, no, it was a tough loss for Miami. But again, coming into the football game, Miami didn't have to win that game. I mean, I think a lot of people were lost on, the perfect season. And it doesn't really matter anymore in college football, the perfect season. It just matters getting into the Final Four. We all know that it comes down to the winner of the ACC will get into the championship round. It's going to be a little bit tougher of a hill to climb for Miami, losing Chris Herndon, their top tight end, in that football game on Friday. They didn't look over particularly good. But then again, you're going to have games where your quarterback is not on target. If you watch the game, Jeff, like I know you did, with guys running wide open, and Rozier couldn't even hit the broadside of a barn, throw it in the ocean, use whatever moniker you want in that football game. They even tried to switch up quarterbacks in the fourth quarter to see if they can get a little kickstart. Didn't happen. Miami lost the football game. Pitt was overall the better football team that day, which you see quite a bit, late in the season. But again, Miami went into that football game. Would have been nice to win? Sure. You want to keep on winning undefeated season. Game didn't matter at all. Beat Clemson and you're in. Same thing with Clemson. Beat Miami and you're in the football game. Sets up for a pretty cool ACC title game, Jeff, this weekend.
Yeah, and if you've been following us all year, Donnie's obviously a big Miami fan. I told all of you Clemson was going to lose to Miami in the ACC title game. We still have that possibility here, Donnie, coming up. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun, but you're right. Rozier did not play well. He was all over the place. We already know they're without Mark Walton, which sucks. Yeah, he needs to be better. If he plays that way against Clemson, it's going to be a long day, Donnie, for that Miami group. But I think you already know that. Alabama, Donnie, loses in a game that they didn't play well in either. Too many turnovers. Donnie, you're getting to the point now with Auburn where I really could make a case they're the best team in the country right now. You have to look at that team and say to yourself, this is a pretty complete team. I mean, they have a good quarterback, great run game, so good playmakers on the outside. They have a real good defense. They're well coached. Why isn't Auburn the best team in the country, Donnie? Can you make that case?
Yeah, no, you can make the case because you lose early on what is it, game one? They lost to Clemson. I mean, that's no shame. And I believe that was the
Right.
Clemson game. Did they lose at home, Auburn, in that game, Jeff? I'm trying to remember back or if that was in Death Valley there. But neither here nor there. They
I
lost that
believe it
game. And
was
they
on
were
the road,
It was on the
but
road.
I'm
So I
not
mean,
sure.
yeah, yeah, even that makes it a little bit easier to digest. But then you had the game where they lost on the road to, I believe it was LSU. They had like a 26-7 lead and were blowing them away. Folded up late in that one. But again, losses count. Which I'm starting to understand. Which the good thing about it, Jeff, is I like the chaos, and that's what I was rooting for. Because what does chaos breed? It got us out of the BCS, where you have the top two teams into a 14 playoff, and this 14 playoff is going to expand to 8 pretty quickly. When you're going to see what's going to happen this weekend. Because to me, Jeff, I like to equate it. If you're watching an NBA 3-point competition, right? Always the last ball in the rack is the money ball. That money ball in college football right now, Jeff, is winning your conference championship. No way, shape, or form. I think Alabama is a top 4 team in the country right now with one loss. Do I think it's right? Yes, I do. But why are you going to throw in all this stuff and win conference championships? If you don't win your own division, if you don't even play for your conference championship, you cannot be in the Final Four. It's just the way it is, Jeff.
No, I agree with you. And as far as Auburn being the best team, I think it's right now they are. I mean, did they lose a couple games early in the season? Yeah, but I think right now they're playing perfect football. They've been fantastic. They really took it to Alabama in that game. That was impressive, and they really just ran it down the third. Donnie, Alabama's pass defense is not that good. I'm going to tell you that it's not that good. You can pass against that team. They're not as unbelievable as we think they are. You can move the ball against them, and Auburn was able to do it. Big man had a lot of fun last night. Very enjoyable. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time with it. It was kind of spontaneous and it worked well. We had a nice time. Hey, hit the like button if you're out there. We appreciate that. Please hit the thumbs up. Very important to our Donnie analytics, as you would call it.
Yes.
So big time Alabama goes down. Donnie, and by the way, speaking of Alabama, it wasn't a good week for them. It actually wasn't a good couple hours for Alabama. Their
Yeah.
football team goes down, and then their basketball team has to play a game with 3 players, Donnie. 5-on-3 for
I
about
saw
11
that.
minutes. Pretty unbelievable, I have to say. I I've seen a lot of basketball in my life, and I'm sure you have as well. Have you ever seen a 5-on-3, Donnie?
No, no, I've never seen that before. And I was coming home, just watching the games, and I turn it on. I see, Twitter starts to explode right away when something out of the normal happens. And the one thing I couldn't get enough of, Jeff, is the fact that Alabama was making a run with only three people out there on the court, which is just astonishing when you think about it. Because you joke, when you play on the basketball court, you're like, hey, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, or whatever. You just bust up the other team. But the fact that it looked like they were actually the better team with only three people out there was pretty funny, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll say this, Donnie. It was probably one of the more amazing things I've ever seen. I've never seen nothing like that, and it was impressive. I mean, and one of the kids was a freshman. That was so amazing about it. But it was a weird game. It was one of those games I always remember that game. Like really, anytime I always remember that 2-on, 3-on-5 kind of game. But yeah, tough day for Alabama. Overall, it wasn't a good couple hours. Donnie, Friday night there was a great game, and it was probably the best game of the season. I mean, one of the better games of the season. Quentin Flowers goes for 503 yards and 4 touchdowns, but it's not enough. Mackenzie Milton was just a little bit better. They were a little bit better. Knights are 11-0. Donnie, our old friend Paul Howard on Sportsbook says that he thinks that UCF should be in the playoff. What do you think of that?
Not a 14 playoff. You have to be a Power 5 team to get in the playoff. I mean,
Right.
I like the little guy, Jeff. You know me, Jeff. Like when me and you get in the full swing college basketball season, we're digging in lower conference levels, having a lot of fun, saying they should be getting a lot more respect than they do. But outside a Power 5 team, you can't. You just can't get in there. That's why it should be an 18 playoff. Would anybody have a shame right now, Jeff, if there's an 18 playoff and UCF got in as the eighth seed now because it's a nice story? Same way we used to always look at Boise
No.
State back in the day when they would go undefeated and then they would take down Oklahoma, and you say, see that? You see that? They should have actually been in the BCS or, got a better bowl game or whatever. They don't deserve to be in. Damn good football team. Could they give somebody hell if they got in the playoff? Maybe they could, but they don't deserve to be in at this point outside of the Power 5.
Yeah, but realistically, I think DG1 makes a good point. I mean, even if there's 8 teams, can you make a case that they deserve it over Clemson, Oklahoma, Auburn, Wisconsin, Alabama, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State? I mean, all
I
eight of
think you
those
could at
teams.
that point. Yeah, I think you could at that because I think the public would like that as well. You know what I mean? Like you would give that. People like underdog scenarios, but don't like a lot of them. Like the Final Four, it's kind of cool if one team might sneak in there as an underdog, but we like the powerhouse programs. That's what we tune in for, and the NCAA football knows that. You can't put them in a 4, maybe as the 8th seed, and Alabama or whoever's number 1 would probably run them, but it'd be fun to watch because they're up tempo, they're fast, they're a mismatch. Remember back in the day, maybe I don't even know, this is probably dating you, Jeff, maybe 10, 15 years when Hawaii would get in the bowl games. I remember they played Georgia down in the Sugar Bowl, the Matthew Stafford Georgia teams, and Georgia just smoked them right off the field. But it's fun to watch that wide open 500-yard, 600-yard offense go against like a really good defense to see if they can match up against it. I like to see it, but again, they don't have anywhere near the top 4, Jeff.
I think there should be some sort of rule where like they have to put one G5 team in, and the best G5 team goes in. So that's what they should do. They should do an 18
Yeah, with
playoff.
8, yep, I agree. If it was
One
18
one
playoff,
of
Jeff, I love it. Yep, I absolutely agree.
yeah, one of the public, one of the G5 teams is the the AC. That's definitely got to be what they need to do. But a great game nonetheless. We was back and forth late in the game. There was a kick return. There was all sorts of stuff going on. Really fun game to watch. These guys did battle. Donnie, does Memphis run the table? You think they beat Memphis at UCF?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's a carbon copy because
It's
it's hard to
revenge
beat a
time
team
for
twice.
Memphis.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they smoked Memphis already, which again, you can't take that and say, well, they're going to do the same thing because Memphis, has everything rolling again. UCF's offense is so much fun to watch. At least you can hang your hat on, Jeff, because UCF's a really good offense. South Florida, by the numbers of who they played, they're a pretty good defense out there. Memphis doesn't have nearly the type of defense that South Florida has. Should be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm going to be tuned into that football game. You want points? You want 100 points in that football game? You might get it there because this is probably Scott Frost's send-off weekend. Ain't no way Scott Frost's going to be able to coach a bowl game with UCF. He's going to be at a major school getting $5 to $6 million a year. I think he sends them out with a bang and runs it up the totem pole.
The last 2 weeks for Memphis, 66 and 70. They put on the board. They put up 60 plus a couple times this year, Donnie. Keep in mind they're not
40,
playing
yeah,
East
49 at the
Carolina.
half. What was that game? 49-0 at the half. Like they could have hung 150 points up in that game if they wanted.
Yeah, I actually, on the Low Shack show, I had the over 78 in this game, or 79, whatever it was, and it ended up just getting over the total somehow.
Yeah, you're right. It did. It did.
Um,
You had a couple of people on Twitter when I was out saying, "Hey, what do you think about the UCF second half?" Or excuse me, the Memphis second half. I was actually saying I leaned towards the under 31 just because it was 49-0. I thought they would take their foot off the gas. You got the big key. I think it was the kickoff return touchdown, which helped propel that game over. But it does get home, Jeff, and that's all that matters is the cashes.
yeah, exactly. Donnie, little Big Ten talk here. Jim Harbaugh, I'm going to come out and say it yet again. He's an overrated coach. He is. He just is. He can't develop a quarterback at Michigan. He is just all bark, no bite. That's what he is. This is what he is. He's not going to be any better than this. Every year we hear about how Michigan's going to be this great team, blah, 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 blah. It's always about next year at Michigan. Jim Harbaugh's overrated, Donnie. When are we going to fucking realize it?
Well, where's the innovation? And don't get me wrong, Jeff.
Right.
I like old
Exactly.
football. I'm one of the most old school guys. I like a good defensive effort. I like that he still uses a fullback, but there has to be some innovation out there. Like you're running out like the game has changed a lot, even over the past couple of years. Even Urban Meyer had to, after stepping away from Tom Herman, had to reinvigorate that offense and, put some new kinks in. It just seems like Michigan does the same thing. Like we're big, bad, we're tough on the line. We're going to run it up the middle. We're going to have a quarterback that's never any good, but he's a heady, junior, senior type player who can make a throw here or there. I mean, you're talking about O'Korn, Jeff. In that football game, if you watch that over and you said, I can replace O'Korn with, I want to say like middling players, like middling quarterbacks who just are like average quarterbacks. There were guys running wide open all over the field for Michigan, Jeff. And I'm talking about, you're in the backyard, maybe playing back in your days in South Philadelphia. Hey, run to the pole and make a left and just throw that easy like pitch and catch. O'Korn had guys wide open all game long and was missing his target, Jeff, by 10 yards a pop. And that goes right back to the coach. Like you have to get, I don't understand. The innovation is not there. Yeah, you're right. You haven't developed a quarterback. They pay him a lot of money, Jeff, I guess, to lose 3, 4, 5 games a season. I guess that's where Michigan's at.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's he this guy makes $9 million a year, by the way. You want to make that clear.
Is that what he
Um,
really makes? Is that what his actual salary is?
I believe, yeah, he's the most highest paid coach in the country. So I mean, it's getting to the point with him where it's like, okay, you know what he is, Donnie, and this is crazy to say, but you know what Jim Harbaugh is? The truth of the matter, he's fucking Lorenzo Romar. That's what he is. He's Romar. He recruits well, but that's about it. He doesn't do anything else. And that's what Romar was. Romar did a hell of a job recruiting in Washington, but he never fucking won anything. He
And he's a
got
weird guy
close once
too.
in a while. Yeah, he is. All he does is whine. And Donnie, I was talking about this with Morency the other day. It's Don Brown, a lot of this too. Don Brown's been kind of the catalyst for Michigan with that defense. What the hell has Jim Harbaugh done? And you're right. There's been no fucking innovation for this guy. He's not transformed and said, you know what? We're going to go out and we're going to do this and we're going to do this on offense. They don't ever do it. Even last year, their offense sucked. And they had a lot better players last year.
When you have
Wilton
a when you
Spade's
have a
going to.
great defense too, when you have a great defense with
Yeah.
Michigan, what do you look for? Like Barrett's not a great passer, but if you have that athletic quarterback, and you see it with Alabama, like Alabama makes no bones about it. Like we don't even really need a thrower back there. Our defense is so good. Give me a kid that can make some plays with his feet, get out of the pocket, and we'll just make a few plays a game, a la Randall Cunningham in the early '90s with the Eagles, and we'll win football games because we're that good on defense. Can you imagine if they just had I'm not even talking Jeff, a great quarterback, a playmaker at quarterback. Look at the kid that came in for JT Barrett on Saturday. Comes in fluid, can run, can throw. Where is that from Michigan this year? Like, you don't have a guy stashed on your bench. I know. Well, they did have some injuries in this, but you're getting back to O'Korn, and I don't know. I'm baffled when I watch, and you're right. He makes a ton of money, but when you date back, I like the jab, like the Michigan fans out there, Jeff. I mean, when's the last time Michigan competed for a national title? When's the last time Michigan was truly a great football institution? They're a good college. You can go there, get a great
Unbelievable.
education. They have a huge, home field of 110,000. But that's what it is, I guess. You lose 3, 4 games a year. You get slaughtered by your rival every single year. But I guess that's what you do at Michigan.
Yeah, and it's like their fans are so delusional. They think that this like big time program every year that's gonna, just they're gonna beat Ohio State. You don't. You get fucking sunned by them every year. That's the truth. It's just true. And Donnie, you know what's crazy? Gabe made a good comparison also when we were talking about this. He said that Jim Harbaugh is John Harbaugh. They have the same exact team. And I said, well, at least John has Joe Flacco, who is he somewhat, but he's kind of at this point what Michigan's quarterbacks are. They're just like statue guys that just sit in the pot. I mean, Donnie, how many quarterbacks is this guy going to hurt? Jim Harbaugh. Every quarterback's been driven into the ground. Jake Rudock, John O'Corn, uh, you know, Shane Morris back in the day. Spate's leaving. I mean,
It's the
there's a
same
reason
guy
he's
at
leaving.
quarterback, Jeff. Like it's literally it's the same.
Yes,
Like when you start like when's the last time at Michigan you're like, oh, yo, I can't wait for this kid to start. Like this guy's a
ever.
5-star bona fide stud at quarterback, and you get the same run of the mill like plain bread and butter and a glass of water at quarterback, no matter who's in there for Michigan. You're Michigan. Like shouldn't like Jim Harbaugh sleeps over like kickers' houses? Don't you think you should go down south or go out west to California, have a couple sleepovers with some good quarterbacks, Jeff?
Yeah, I can't say I remember the last time they had one of those. They haven't. Denard Robinson maybe, but I mean, even he was
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
lame.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't Darnold. Who was the last guy that was actually in there? He and back with the Brady Hoke era where the quarterback was wearing number 98 because they wanted to
yeah,
honor Heisman Trophy
Devin
winner. Who was
Gardner.
that
Yeah,
quarterback? There you go. There you go.
Devin Gardner. Yeah, yeah, I remember him. Sure, he sucked too. He was like Cardell Jones except a little bigger.
Yeah, it was him and
Um,
like Devin Funchess was lining up as a tight end back there. Couldn't catch a cold. Now he's a wide receiver in the NFL. Yeah, same thing over and over at Michigan.
exactly. Donnie, speaking of coaches, a lot going on in the SEC right now. A lot of coaches moving and shaking. But before we talk about that, Chip Kelly, Donnie goes to UCLA. Uh, you know, it's hard to imagine this doesn't work. I mean, Chip Kelly, Pac-12, college, uh, hotbed of recruiting there. I should do quite fine. And I found it funny of all these Eagle fans. They all hate Chip Kelly now. And look, I don't like Chip Kelly. He ruined the Eagles for many years, but it also I thought brought change to the Eagles, so I have to be happy about that. Um, I don't hate Chip Kelly anymore. I think he'll do a fine job at UCLA, and I get the feeling in a couple of years they're going to be vying for a title, Donnie, at UCLA.
Realization and the expectation at Florida and a lot of these SEC programs where they just look at Alabama and say we need to be Alabama. Well, you're not going to be Alabama. I like the move going to UCLA because he still has those grassroots out there with recruiting of the West Coast. Now he's in California. Imagine that, Jeff, when he was pulling 5-star recruits out of California trying to sell them to come up to Oregon.
I think we lost Donnie for a second there. Donnie, you there? Yeah, I think we lost Donnie for a second. We'll get him back up here. But he's making the point that I think we all would make. Chip Kelly, we still on? Guys, let me know in the chat if we're still on. I think we're still on here. I think we just lost Donnie Rightside for a moment. We still on here? Uh, I have no way of knowing if we're still on here. My internet's still working, so I guess we're still on here. All right, very good. Donnie will get him back. But yeah, he was making the case about Chip Kelly. It's just all about getting the recruits to come to Oregon. Now he doesn't have to do that. Now it's just, hey, why don't you come over to LA and play for me? It's perfect. It's a perfect marriage. Um, and look, UCLA has some good pieces in place. They're going to lose Rosen, but they still have plenty of options. They're going to get plenty of guys coming in. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for UCLA. Good big time program. You expect they'll come back to prominence here again. I'm addicted to parlays. I hate it. I got to learn how to make better betting decisions. Yeah, you do. Not good. Don't be betting parlays. But you'll learn. Yeah, all of us bet parlays. You just got to have some discipline to decide. Hey, uh, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm gonna
The
bet
person whom you're
straight.
trying to
I'm
reach
gonna
is
stay with
currently.
that. I think he's just having some tech difficulties here. We'll get him back, Donnie, right side. It was random. Everything seemed fine. Now he's off. So there's no play-by-play today, so we can't fill the time with that. There's nothing going on right now. But we will get into a little Monday Night Football. I will say this: the game's not particularly good. That's going to be a tough one. What do we got? Texans, Ravens. Going to be a brutal game, I'd imagine. So I'm not sure how much we actually have to get into that as far as betting value. There's some college basketball on the card. We'll get into that maybe. But I wanted to talk with Donnie about the coaching carousel down in the SEC. So we'll wait for him. We'll go through a couple comments, see if he gets back here. We'll give him 5 minutes or so. Um, Welcome into all the people out there. Cal, Armin, Michael, DJ1 Mike, Emza, Matt Varnum, Andy, Brooke Lover, uh, Osaman, John, Matt, Armin, all you guys, welcome in. Appreciate you checking us out. Hit the like button. Let us know you're out there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them on the chat. What championship game are you most looking forward to? Uh, Probably Clemson, Miami, just because I really like Miami. I think it's going to be an interesting game. Two real good defenses. Uh, Probably that one. But all of them are going to be great. I mean, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Memphis, UCF. They're all going to be fun. Who do you think is going to make the Final Four in college football? Shit. I think Wisconsin will beat Ohio State, so they're in. Oklahoma, Miami, and Auburn. Auburn, Miami, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. Those are my four. Dope picks, BMOC. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Are you laying 40 with Cincinnati? Uh, Probably not. I mean, they're playing Alabama State, who I I think I think I have them tactically. I think they're the worst team in the country overall. They're without one of their best players. Cincinnati should win by 50, but
The person
uh,
whom you're
you know, it's questionable if they can. I mean, 41's a lot of points in college basketball. I mean, you basically need a 101-51 type of game, and those don't happen very often. So I would venture no, but we'll see. I'll get into college basketball a little bit later. Big man, are you on Portland State? I haven't been on them. I've been on them heavy. I have not been on Portland State. Nice win for the Vikings last night, though, against Stanford. Stanford's really struggling right now. Welcome in, Juan Juarez. Appreciate you checking us out. Who are your top five mid majors? Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Bucknell. Who else? Well, I mean, I guess if you consider them, Skype's fucking with Donnie. He'll be back in a minute. I don't know. Do I consider Gonzaga and St. Mary's mid majors? Because if so, then yeah, they would be my top two. But if not, then I'd have to pick a whole nother five. Donnie, you back?
I am
Donnie's
back.
not.
Good. Thank you for
Donnie's
Skype there.
not.
Yeah. I must not have paid my Skype bill, I guess.
Yeah, you got to pay that bill, Donnie. Real quick though, just to finish my thought there. If you include St. Mary's and Gonzaga, it'd be Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Nevada, Vermont, UT Arlington, and then like Charleston, Belmont, those kind of teams. So yeah. Oakland is falling down the power ranking. So they're going down. Donnie's back here. Great, glad to have him back. Donnie, I wanted to ask you about the coaching carousel here in the SEC.
Yeah.
You have Greg Schiano was going to go to Tennessee, but the boosters and everyone wasn't happy, so they pulled it. I guess you have to do that though. I mean, he's had some problems in his past, some lies that came out, and he's not that good a coach. So they need to make a better hire. Greg Schiano was not the end.
Yeah, I don't know what you want from Tennessee. I mean, when you look like Tennessee is going to come like Schiano pulled a miracle in Rutgers, like the Christmas miracle that nobody ever saw, like Jesus Christ coming down to a university and placing their hand on the heart of the university and bringing it back to life with Rutgers. He won at Rutgers. You should get infinite amount of jobs in college football because all you have to do is send your resume and said, I won at Rutgers, and you should be able to get 98% of the football jobs out there. Do I think it's a great hire for Tennessee if they went along with it? It is a good hire, but let's be real, Tennessee, on who and what you are down there. Who have you had? You hired Derek Dooley. You hired Butch Jones. You ran Phil Fulmer out of town, the only guy that could bring you even presentability because he had a couple down years there, but actually won a national title. You wanted John Gruden. Like, John Gruden's not even coming back to the NFL for like $8 million a year, stepping out of the booth where he doesn't have to recruit. And you wanted John Gruden, who you thought was actually going to take the 10. That's not Alabama, Jeff. It's not USC. It's not Miami. It's not Florida State. The Tennessee job of all things, where after his first season, he would have said, you know what? I don't like this anymore. Like, I don't feel like recruiting. I just want to be a football coach. I want to go back to the NFL. Who does Tennessee think they are, and who do they think they can get at this point, Jeff?
I don't know. They're a bad football program. Their fans are another group of people that are delusional. They think that they're a big time football program. People are all excited. They haven't won shit for like 20 years. Peyton Manning was the last person that won there. That's the truth. They're not that good. They're a middling SEC school. They think because they're in Rocky Top or there's some big SEC school. They're not. They're not any good. Basketball sucks. Football sucks. They're average. I'll tell you what's going to happen, Donnie. You know what's going to happen? They're going to go to T
What?
Martin and they're going to tell you, they're going to say, hey, T Martin, you played here for many years. You've been doing good out in USC. Why don't you come coach our team? That's what's going to happen. T
Yeah, and they're
Martin.
gonna love that. What about the other one, Jeff? Where you see now, they're marching around campus, they're putting all the propaganda up. You know what my favorite thing about that is, Jeff? Absolutely favorite thing is going out looking to get another football coach and saying, "Hey, why don't we go back and get Lane Kiffin?" Lane Kiffin took a shit on your entire football program and left you. Is that how bad it is at Tennessee, Jeff? Where the girl who left you slept with 17 guys behind your back, and you're like, "Please come back, baby." Are you kidding me, Tennessee? Pull your pants up over there, fellas. Come on, get it
Yeah, I'm not
together.
exactly sure what they think they're going to get or what they want. Their fan base is, you know, look, they're a fan base like any other that deserves a winner, but I think they're outkicking their coverage, you would say, a little bit, with their coaching options. So yeah, outkicking the coverage works perfectly in Tennessee's case because that's what they seemingly do with the hires that they want. So yeah, Tennessee's a mess. They're gonna have problems, but I think they go out and get T Martin, Donnie. T Martin, come on home, coach us.
Like, is that real
We
exciting for them? Like they hung their hat on. It's almost the equivalent of saying, you know what? If you are a what fan base? Cleveland, right? And they say, you know what? I think we can get Belichick in the offseason here. I think Belichick will come back to Cleveland and will be a big winner. Like don't worry about shooting for the moon. Like why don't you just shoot for the stars? Like why don't you bring back why don't you just have like an all-star? How about Bill Cowher? Can Bill Cowher go to Tennessee and coach? Like why don't you just reach there and just pull somebody from way back? How about Jimmy Johnson? Remember how good Jimmy Johnson was back in the '80s with Miami Hurricanes? Yeah, bring in Jimmy Johnson to Tennessee. Like
maybe Al
just keep
Golden,
shooting for
Donnie.
yeah. Yeah. Al Golden could be your defensive coordinator. Maybe Phil Snow will come over there and coach the defense.
Yeah, like Beanie Siegel said, Donnie, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst the stars.
Like
That's
it's look, we're
what they.
it's Tennessee, Jeff. You know what I mean? Like you should be lucky that you have like a distinguished football coach that wants to be your coach, but you wanted Gruden because Gruden won so many games
Oh
in college
yeah,
football.
and then they blame it on some waiter that said he thought it was John Gruden. Um,
Yeah.
Again, you're Tennessee football. You're not Alabama, and who's going to want to go there? Because you got to play Alabama. Who the hell wants to go to Tennessee? It's a.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right in that recruiting fertile base where you have Clemson on one side of you that's recruiting the hell out of it. You have Alabama on the other side. You have right down there in Atlanta. I mean, they're going to go to Georgia. It's a tough. I mean, it's a big school. It has unlimited funds and it does have tradition. And you sell out. It's 110,000. I get that. But there's a reason why you hired Derek Dooley and Butch Jones. Like you hired Butch Jones. I mean, you hired Butch Jones. You reached down into
Donnie,
Cincinnati and said, you know what, Butch is our guy.
Donnie, let me ask you. Over the last 10 years, you can make the case Missouri's been a better football program than Tennessee, right? You can make that
You
case.
can. You absolutely can. Yeah.
I
Think
mean,
one.
it's fucking
Think one.
Tennessee.
Excuse me.
When did we
Yeah.
decide that when were we talking about USC here or Alabama or Georgia? I mean, come on. Kevin Sumlin axed Texas A&M. That was a long time coming. Jimbo Fisher looks like he might go there, Donnie. What are your thoughts on that? That's interesting,
That's a
isn't
good
it?
move by Fisher. I think you know what, Jeff? The smartest
Get out of
man
there.
in the room. Exactly. You had a great run. You had, and again, I because I'm a Miami fan, so of course I'm going to take a jab at Florida State. Like you're sitting there on the sideline, you're looking at your play sheet, Jeff, as you heard me say so many times. Where's that play where it's 3rd and 13? We're on our own 4. Just give it to Dalvin Cook. All right, good. We're at midfield. Where's the play where I just say Dalvin Cook make a play out there? We're down 14 in the fourth quarter. We're 3rd and 13 on our own. Dalvin Cook, hey, Dalvin Cook, just do something out there. It's no longer there. It's apparent. It's a great time to get out of town because you leave with your dignity, Jeff. You probably make an extra $2 to $3 million a year. You head to the SEC and you get a couple years of that breathing room at A&M where you come in, maybe you challenge the first couple years, and then you make your move because he's a really good recruiter. But it's a perfect time for Jimbo Fisher to get out of Florida State. Perfect time.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I mean, he does have some personal life problems there, so I don't think anything. I think getting out of FSU might be a good thing for him. Dottie, you've heard about his wife, right?
I don't, I saw they ran like one of those E60s or whatever on Jimbo Fisher. I know he's separated from his wife and he's got a couple kids, but I don't really know the gist of it. No, what is it?
Well, she actually had sex with a player, one of his
No,
players,
when is
actually.
this? How come I didn't hear about this?
Yeah, look it up. They're divorced.
Might
She
have
gets
to.
yeah, she's a good looking woman, very pretty woman, a blonde woman. Uh, Definitely.
Was it Jamie Swinston? Was the player Jamie Swinston?
It was not Jameis Winston, but it's definitely proven that she slept with a player and they had like an
Oh,
affair. Tr-
ooh.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess she was getting sick of old Jimbo. She wanted something
Yeah,
younger.
live by the sword,
Um,
die by the sword. Hey, man, what happens?
Jimbo's got to pay the alimony, so you got to do something. They got to make some money
Yeah,
somehow, right? Donnie,
yeah.
one other thing, Dan Mullen's going to Florida, and he was the OC
Mhm.
there, if you remember, for a couple years
Yep,
back in
yep.
the early 2000s. And you talk about a guy that I don't know if you saw Tim Tebow down on ESPN. He was talking about this. He listed just all the quarterbacks that Dan Mullen's like y had. I mean, he's really made some real good quarterbacks in his career. I mean, whether it's Dak Prescott or Tebow himself when Cam Newton was at Florida, he's put out some pretty decent quarterbacks in his career. If someone's going to develop a quarterback, it's Dan Mullen, and we all know uh, they need a quarterback in Florida. That's a great move for them. He comes back to his old stomping grounds. Really like that move, Dan Mullen to Florida.
Yeah, I think that the right move, the right excuse me, word I'm looking for is a very safe move for Florida because I don't think you hurt yourself in this environment where you just explode your team and he's going to get your offense right, but he's going to have that dated offense and it's going to look like it's Tim Tebow all over again down at Florida. But hey, if you can get the athletes to play defense and you're going to tell a guy to come in and be like, look, I'm going to give you a fertile recruiting bed out here. We're going to be able to handpick your quarterbacks. Like put Fitzgerald on that one of these Florida teams this year where he can just one man team it on offense and play good defense. They're going to move the ball. They're going to go to a bowl game. And that's what Florida needs at this point. Will they get back to challenging for national championships under Dan Mullen? Maybe, because he's going to be able to get, Jeff, that 5-star athlete at quarterback that's going to be able to run that offense. And we all know at Florida, we all know at Florida State at Miami, you're going to get recruits good enough to play defense. I think it's a good, safe move. We'll see how it turns out, but I don't think Florida's going to hurt themselves where you go, why the hell would they hire that guy? You know what I mean? Like when McElwain came to town, you're like, well, it's going to be a little bit questionable. He's a good coach, but I don't know if he's going to now go down and flip it on in SEC territory. And he was bounced out quickly. I think Dan Mullen knows the landscape down there. I think it's a good hire, good safe hire where Florida's going to win some football games here with him.
Yeah, I think it's a great hire for them. One of the better ones. Nebraska should give Les Miles 7 or 8 million and start winning again. I don't know about that.
That's
I don't know
fine.
if he's going to make them. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get them to start winning again. You talk about a guy that can't develop a quarterback. I mean, fuck.
Oh,
Scott
he needs to be
Frost at
back in
Florida
college
State.
football, though. I need to see him back. Is yeah, the interesting one, Scott Frost. And the best part about it, Jeff, he's probably the hottest coaching commodity right now. And there's nothing on the beat where like those smoke is coming up. I already have a feeling like he's a done deal to Nebraska, Jeff, because there would be smoke out there. There would be Tennessee trying to kick the door down to talk to him. You're not hearing anything right now from the hottest coaching commodity. Don't be surprised if they had a mutual agreement says, look, I don't want anything leaked. I want my boys to enjoy this week at UCF. I want to win a conference title. I want to finish the season undefeated. They can go to a bowl game. They'll have an assistant coach, but I don't want to hear anything. Just let me concentrate. And that's sort of the words that echoed out of the Nebraska AD at this point coming in and saying, you know what? He's a great football coach. Him and his team are still having a good year. I don't want to talk about him yet. They've already talked behind the scenes. I would be really surprised. Great story, too. Scott Frost back to Nebraska to try to revive that program. They need it.
No, I think he should go to Florida State. That'd be dope. Him in Florida
Maybe he
State.
waits out for Florida State. Yeah, he would be. He would be good in Florida. I thought he would be like when you started hearing like Chip Kelly pulled out of the Florida deal. Scott Frost would have been an absolute swing home run grand slam for Florida. And as a Miami fan, I'm actually glad that hopefully he goes back to Nebraska.
Yeah, if he goes to Florida State, that's gonna be a knockout of the park hire because he's gonna get all types of recruits there. And you imagine that offense that he runs, that's gonna be
It's
it's gonna be
like that.
pretty
You're right.
impressive.
And the best part, Jeff, is Jimbo Fisher leaves Florida State. You know who I'm hearing like, but like I heard like, well, Willie Taggart might come back to Florida, which makes sense. I mean, Willie Taggart is a great deal up in Oregon, but you put Willie Taggart back at a school like Florida State, he's going to be able to do some damage. But the one I laugh at is like, hey man, Charlie Strong would be a great fit at Florida State. As a Miami fan, please hire Charlie Strong at Florida State. Go ahead.
By the way, it isn't all bad for Jimmo Fisher, Donnie. A new girlfriend, about 20 years younger than him. I'm seeing it
Okay,
right
come
here.
on.
Good for him. How about that, Donnie? You get rid of the nagging wife that doesn't want you anyway. You go out and get a nice little
Yeah,
honey
maybe you don't have to
baby.
pay so much alimony if it's true that she was, messing around with his football players. Maybe you get a little bit of a discount on there.
From what I heard, 4,500 a month he pays. So, uh, I guess it could have been
By the
more.
way, that's tax free. That's tax free too. That's not bad for the woman. Tax free.
Yeah, I mean, after she fucked it up, yeah, it's definitely not bad.
You thought it
Women
would
get
be more.
everything,
Why would
Donnie.
it be more though? Like Jimbo's making like 5, 6, 7 mil a year. Why isn't it more?
I
I mean,
guess she
maybe that is
let
the
him.
discount. Maybe that was the discount. Like, look, I'll pay you 4,500 a month. That's what the agreement's going to come to. If you fight it, we'll go to court and I'll just hang out that laundry. Like, we'll put that laundry right out there. All right, fine. Give me the 4,500.
You got to be real though, Donnie. I mean, what an idiotic woman. I mean, you have you're married to a guy that makes a lot of money. He seems like a nice guy, and you go out and bang a player. I mean, you got to be real hard up, huh? I mean, amazing. Um,
It's got to be out of spite, right? Like what? It has to be out of spite. And who's the players?
yeah.
The players still playing? Or is Jimbo like, look, hey, look,
He,
you're a 5-star recruit. I'll look, my wife will take care of you when you come down here. And he's like, all right, deal.
yeah. I don't.
Maybe that was
I
a,
believe
a
it was.
recruiting advantage.
I believe it was a player that did it. That's not on the team anymore. But yeah. As far as how that all happened, you know what? I think I read a story, Donnie. She was basically looking for a personal trainer of some sort, and he was her personal trainer. I think that's what I read. So yeah,
Course.
definitely.
Sounds like a good film.
Yeah. Speaking of players' wives, Brett Bielema, good call. Brett Bielema's wife's beautiful. Great
Jeff, you know
call.
what's interesting? You look at Brett Bielema on the sideline, and like I don't know Brett Bielema. I never met the guy, but you can only look for. He just seems like he's a dick as a football coach. But all the stuff coming out after he got fired is how of a class act he was, and the players love him, and old coaches love him, and he did wonderful things. It's one of those images that doesn't fit the mold of when you just look at Brett Bielema on the sideline. You just figure like, man, I hate that guy. I want from the lose. And then all of a sudden, all the stuff comes out again, and nobody has a bad thing to say about Bielema. That's one of the interesting twists. I look at that. Wonder where he ends
Yeah,
up.
I had the thoughts about Bielema the same way I had about Paul Chryst at Wisconsin. Um, he seems like kind of a dick too, but then I saw that ESPN thing about him and his father, and how like they were coaches, and yeah, I mean I think all these guys kind of get that general feel, but Bielema seems like I thought he seems kind of funny to me. Like I think he'd be like a funny guy to hang out with, and he seems like a nice guy. But yeah,
Yeah,
on
the
the
big
field
old
he
hog.
definitely
You know what I mean? Like just looking to have fun, and
yeah.
I thought it would work out a little bit better at Arkansas because I love the way he did it at Nebraska, and I love that style of football because it's old school. It's not let's run 6 wideouts and super hurry up offense. You're going to incorporate a power running game. Just didn't work out, but he'll land on his feet somewhere. Obviously, being an SEC coach, you get fired. You saw Kevin Sumlin, right, Jeff? $10 million buyout, which has to be paid within 60 days and not even reduced if he takes another head coaching job anywhere else. You get paid. I don't feel bad for any SEC coach gets fired. That's almost like a slap on the ass and congratulations on your retirement if you want to.
By the way, shout out to the pathetic group of people that are Arkansas football. They actually fired Brett Bielema before he was off the fucking field. I mean, that's pathetic. I mean,
They said that
save it
was
for the
wrong, though.
fucking
They
day.
said that was
No, no.
they said it
According
was
to
wrong, but yeah,
Deadspin,
but maybe it was back in the they let him go in the locker room. You know what I mean?
listen, you wait till the next day for Christ's sakes. I mean, give the guy
Why
some
don't you just
fucking
tell him
respect.
before the game? Why don't you just tell him before the day before, like have the meeting,
Or just
be
wait
like,
till the
look,
end
man.
of the game, like the next day. I mean, what's your
Yeah, okay.
fucking
So
rush?
were you trying to get like a jump on your like a head coaching search by that 1 minute? You know what I mean? Like it didn't make it looked cruel and callous, and then you wanted to say like, "Ha, it's what Bielema gets," and then you read about Bielema, like, damn, he didn't deserve that.
Brett Venables, the coaching possibility there. Mike Norvell, maybe from Memphis, maybe making a big. I could see Brett Bielema going though and doing something well. Somewhere. Maybe just not as high profile. Maybe maybe UCF, Donnie. I don't know. I don't know.
For who,
Who knows?
Bielema?
They're not, yeah, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know. Where would you see Bielema going, Donnie? I
He
don't
needs
know.
to be the Big
I don't
Ten.
even.
Put him back in the Big. Bielema to Illinois, Jeff. Right now, can we get it started? He'd fit
Wait,
right
back to
in
where?
Illinois,
Illinois?
man. Yes,
Yeah,
right to Illinois,
nice
man.
little
You fit
area.
right. Give her Lovey Smith out there. How about that? Let's talk about hirings of like Jim Moore and Lovey. So, like you brought Lovey Smith to Illinois. What did you think was going to happen? He's an older guy, an NFL guy, a cover two guy, not an offensive innovator. What was he supposed to do? Hit the recruiting path? Phew, man,
Right. By the way, Donnie, we're back to Coach Jimbo's wife. According to some of the people here, and I got the name. It was Taylor Jacobs, player. He used to play at Florida. He's a little older now. He used to play there. I guess he's still hanging around the program. So it was actually not a player of Fisher. It was an old Florida player, actually.
oh,
36 years old now. So he played there in the early 2000s. So
that's
yeah,
good.
there's
That's
your
all right
answer.
then.
So it's not as bad, I guess, right?
Not
It's
as
not
bad.
like it's not like it's the place kicker on the current team or something. Yeah, good call, Donnie, to Illinois. That's a good point by you.
I love that.
Uh,
Billman to Illinois is a home run for everybody. Home run.
by the way, Donnie, yesterday, speaking of Illinois, I was watching the Temple game yesterday, and
Yeah.
Donnie, I was thinking about basketball. Is there any better basketball city in America than Philadelphia? I mean, what city has what we have basketball wise?
All those teams. How many like you'd be amazed. Like
Amazing.
most people don't, and Jeff, most people don't know. Most people actually don't
Yeah.
know like how close these schools are. You have Division I programs in the city limits. You know, the Big Five, and then you have five legitimate schools. Then you still leave out. You know, Drexel's not even in the Big Five, and they're still Division I.
Yeah. No, it's there's nothing like Big Five. There's nothing like that kind of basketball. Great stuff yesterday. Always like the Big Five. Donnie, let's get into NFL and then we'll look to
Yeah,
wrap the show up here.
sure.
A lot went on yesterday in the NFL. We went over a lot of it last night on the closing line. Bills get a big win, and the big talk in Kansas City is what do you do now? But all this talk that it's time to go to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you're still in the fucking playoff hunt. Stop with that talk.
Yes.
We saw that worked out for the Bills. Quit it. Andy Reid responded correctly. You don't go to Patrick Mahomes. Please stop. Come on, Don.
No, you go to Patrick Mahomes, Jeff, when you have 2 wins on the season. You want to see what he has. You don't go to Patrick Mahomes when you're in first place in the division. But, Jeff, the MO of the NFL right now is let's just see what the backup has just to see what the backup has. And you know what, folks? Why is he the backup? For a reason. He stinks. So don't go to – like, what happens at – what's your upside with Mahomes? He comes in and is competent. I mean, the team's not very good as it is right now. So does that give you a boost? And he's a rookie. So do you think in the thick of a playoff race, when you throw him in late in the season, he's going to go out there and dominate and make the right decisions? You stick, as much as I don't like Alex Smith, Jeff, you're in first place. Ride it out. Look who you have to beat, the awful Denver Broncos. Even though how well the Chargers are playing, Jeff, they are the Chargers, and we know how it goes down late in the fourth quarter to half the time with the Chargers. And then you have the Oakland Raiders. Stick with Alex Smith, grind out some victories, and you'll probably still win the division. You're not going to Mahomes right now.
Casey does this shit every season. That's exactly right, Don J. Dill. That's exactly right. I said that last night on the show. That's exactly right. A lot of people are talking about Indiana as the basketball haven, North Carolina. Yeah, notice I said city, best basketball city, a city. There's no city in America that does what Philadelphia does as far as college hoops. There just isn't. As far as states, you would be correct. I'm not going to make the
Yeah,
case that Pennsylvania has great basketball. They do have some good teams. Villanova, Pittsburgh back in the day. There's still decent schools. But no, as far as city limits, Donnie, big city, there's no big city that does it like Philadelphia in college basketball. But I would agree. There are states way higher on the totem pole.
oh, sure.
Um,
Oh, sure.
yeah, exactly. Donnie, last night, what the hell was going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Did Brett Hundley just
Yeah.
strike lightning in a bottle, or were the Steelers that poor defensively? Because it looks like they were pretty poor defensively. I saw a lot of busted coverages last night. Brett Hundley automatically was Brett Favre. Was it Brett Favre back there or Brett Hundley? Who was it, Donnie?
I don't know. I mean, I was tuning in and out, flipping around, watching some things. I was just astonished because I watched the first drive where, Pittsburgh goes down, scores the touchdown, misses the extra point, and immediately my thoughts already head to is like, this game's going to be a blowout. I don't even know why I'm going to watch it. And before you could blink, the Green Bay Packers had the league, fought them all the way through. I don't know. I don't know what it is with the Pittsburgh Steelers where when you play a bad team, it's automatic where you have no preparation or motivation. I think that goes a little bit to the head coach. I mean, ultimately you got to win. And it's hard to win in the National Football League. I get that. But when you're a 9-2 team or you're looking to go into the playoffs, you're looking to stay hot, some of these wins are alarming by the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they are alarming. Should they have gone out and won by 40 points in this game? No, but there's something to be said about a game where A lot of points in this game, Jeff. You weren't even the best team out there, and that's the Green Bay Packers with Brett Hundley. So it's very surprising, but looks to be the Steelers' MO this year so far, Jeff.
Big win for the Rams yesterday, Donnie. They needed one after getting bounced by the Vikings. Saints lose. Donnie, we continue to talk about it. It's just shaking out. Great for our Eagles. Big game next week up in Seattle. But it's lost a lot of its luster, Donnie. I look at this game next week against Seattle, and I say to myself, well, um, yeah, it's a tough game, but it's a very winnable game. Very easily winnable. Eagles are 4-point favorites, Donnie. Early line look. Your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Usually, Jeff is an Eagles fan, and I'm talking to my pop yesterday watching the game. And you're not even sweating games. Like once it had, like last week, sweating a little bit with the Dallas Cowboys game at the half, but they pulled away right away. And you're watching yesterday, going, this is like something I've never seen out here. Because usually you watch a game, and maybe the Eagles will blow a game, they don't play well, they step down to the competition, they lose to an inferior opponent, or you're circling the wagons and you're saying, you know what? From the beginning of the season, like, man, we got to go to Seattle. There's no way we can beat Seattle. I'm really looking forward to the Sunday night football game because I think the Eagles can lay it on Seattle too. The Eagles do everything that Seattle doesn't want to happen. Russell Wilson makes miracles happen every single Sunday. You saw it again yesterday against a poor San Francisco team. It doesn't matter. You can have 6 guys rush him. You don't need an offensive line. He jukes his way out of stuff, throws the ball off his back foot, circles out of the pocket, and they play street football out there. It's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles have because the Eagles' front four should collapse that pocket every single play on Russell Wilson, but he's used to that at this point. But also, the Eagles have a good secondary. Never in my lifetime would I say this Legion of Boom, which is, a little bit down at this point, obviously, but the Eagles are going to head into Seattle as a 3 to 4 point favorite. That's unbelievable and shows you how good the Philadelphia Eagles are at this point, Jeff.
12 games yesterday, Donnie. 9 favorites covered.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of them. Donnie,
A lot of
I
big
know
ones
you're the
too.
NFL king, but
Mhm.
give me some respect. I'm number 3 in the Twitter Super Contest. 120
Look at
people,
that.
Donnie. I'm hanging tough up there. I'm going to need your expertise going forward, Donnie. I need that
I got you, man.
6K.
I got you. No.
All right, good.
Now, Jeff,
We're doing,
is this account?
yeah.
Will this account turn off like a week before the contest is over and say nobody knows who the guy is?
No, no. The guy that runs the contest is he's a longtime Twitter guy. Known him for many years, so it's cool because most of the guys in this are other cappers, other Twitter cappers. Guys like Nugs and different guys. All these Twitter cappers that we know and love, Arliss, NJ Capper, all these guys, Donnie, that we know. Rainmaker's in it.
Mhm.
Chris Barr's in it. Chris Barr not doing too well in it. I think he's towards the bottom. But yeah, a lot of people are in it, Donnie. It's fun, having a good time with it. So hopefully I can get the job done here and win this thing.
No, it's
Donnie, I
good,
also
man.
want
I
to
like it.
yeah, I also
Yeah.
wanted to tease something a little bit tomorrow on the show. On Tuesday's show, Donnie, I will talk about, to me, the most disgraceful thing in America tomorrow. I'll talk about what that is. Doesn't have a lot to do with sports,
Mm.
but it's something that I've been talking about. It's something that has to be mentioned because I think it's a travesty of what's going on tomorrow in the United States. And I'm going to talk about it. It's no political thing, nothing bad. Don't get worried, SBR. I'll talk
Mm.
about it tomorrow, Donnie. Do you have any idea what that could be? There's a travesty going on tomorrow, and I got to talk about what that is.
You're resigning and going to Barstool? That's could be the only thing I could think of.
No, no. If I was going to
It's in the
Barstool,
sporting realm. You said it's not in sporting realm, or it is in the
it
sporting
is
realm?
not in the sporting realm. It's more of in pop culture, but it's
Huh.
still interesting, and it's something that just can't happen. I can't believe it's happening. Um, I'm
Well, Jeff, we
addicted
talk
to
about everything on
teas.
the morning show. Yes.
Yes, I'm addicted to teasers and big boobs.
Yeah,
All
they're two
right.
addicting
Well,
things, Jeff. There
I
are
don't
two
mind the
addicting
second
things.
one, but the first one is something that you got to stay off of. That's no good. You
You
two
used
are
the
the best
teaser on.
cappers in
Did you
each.
tease?
Yeah, go ahead. No, you
No, I
got
was
it,
just
Donnie.
saying,
Go
did
ahead.
you tease down the Steelers yesterday? But it didn't work too well, so.
Yeah, it didn't work too well. Yeah, that didn't work. Donnie, by the way, last night I was up pretty late. I was just watching TV and Jersey Shore was on. What a great show! What a just just a magnifying show. It truly changed reality TV. And you know what, Donnie? Whenever I watch Jersey Shore, I always get a little teary eyed because it brings back a lot of memories for me in my childhood and my 20s. And you watch Jersey Shore and you think to yourself, wow, all these people, they all have kids now. It's like this will never happen again. And it kind of makes me think of like, back to my 20s. I'm still in them and I still can have fun, but you get a little reminiscent, Donnie, because I spent many years at the Jersey Shore. It's like, wow, I'm getting older.
The guy, you still
Donnie
got me there,
Skype.
big man?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. Sky, I mean, it's what we do on the internet. We have to deal with it sometimes. There. No, you're right. Pop culture. Heading down to we should, even the Jersey Shore, dating back to that was my summer. What was it? My summer share or something like that, where it started it
I
all
have a
back
summer
there with
sure.
Steaks
Yeah,
Unlimited. Yeah, yeah,
sure. Tommy Cheese Balls. Yeah, amazing. Good call. You had Growing Up Gotti. That was a great one.
yeah, yeah. There
Yeah.
you go.
There's there's many of a Jersey Shore rerun kind of things, but I still will mention I should have been on Jersey Shore. I really should have. I think it would have been electric. But hey, maybe if they ever have another one, I can be on it. Donnie, before we go today, we had about three,
Yeah.
4 minutes here. Obviously, this is possibly the worst Monday night game of the season. The NFL just continues to strike out here with the scheduling. I mean, Ravens -7.5 against the Texans, over under 38. Do you have any opinion on this game? Have any interest in betting it? You see any edges here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to save this game. And I'm glad you brought that up so we can have a little bit of a segue here. Today's first episode, Jeff, of Building the Case will be based on this Houston-Baltimore game. So be on the lookout for that video a little bit later. I'm going to save my reserves, so to speak, for this game and look for that video a little bit later. But you're right. There's not a lot to like about this game. But, Jeff, I will build a case for why you should take this football game a little bit later today.
We'll look forward to that. I will say this: I'm not laying points with Baltimore. Not doing it. Baltimore's 0
But
6 in their
Jeff, but
last
Jeff, if
six.
you look at them at home, but Jeff, at home, Baltimore, over the past 20 years, they're so good at home.
Yeah, well, stick that up your ass. What do I care about that? Doesn't mean anything to me. Um, but yeah, Donnie, we'll look to build a case with you. That'll be coming up a little
Yes.
bit later here on
Mhm.
sbrpicks.com. A lot coming up. Peter Loshak, he'll be on today with Jimmy the Bag. Peter and I had a pretty good Saturday show. We did pretty well in those games. Look for them coming up here in about an hour or so. Donnie, time has come. The show is over. We're gonna head off into the sunset here on a Monday. A lot coming up at SBR. Like I said, you got Jimmy and Peter. We got some soccer stuff we're doing a little bit later. We got midweek Premier League. We're talking midweek Premier League a little bit later on SBR. Donnie's video will be out at some point. We'll be back tomorrow. A lot to talk about. We'll talk about the Monday night game. We'll get into some of the conference championship games, and I'll tell you what is the worst thing about America going forward from a pop culture perspective tomorrow here on the show. Make sure you check us out 10 o'clock a.m. every weekday here on sbrpicks.com. Have a great day.
Yeah, good job, Jeffy. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it down there.
Appreciate it.
Peace.